Lost Colony is finally here, which means we have not only a brand new map, brand new creatures to explore, but we can also celebrate because there is actually brand new structures. There's a new Lost Colony skin that has been added with this DLC, which gives us some gothic-y tech vibe structures that we'll go check out in a little bit and see what all the different options are. And besides that, there's also some different structures, of course, like some decoration options, the lights, the tables, chairs, benches, and a few new crafting stations, of course. But more importantly, there is now pet beds, which means you can have some of your smaller friends like shoulder pads, but also just dodos and similar creatures of that size around your base and have them, you know, nicely on display. They do some animations and they will be a great addition to any base to bring a lot of life to it. Hello there, survivors, and welcome back in ARK Survival Ascender. Today we are on Lost Colony and let's go check out these new structures. But if you want to see some builds with these structures, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the first build streams and videos that I'll be doing over the next few days and weeks as we explore Lost Colony. And I'm sure we'll do a few builds with these new structures. So the Lost Colony skin, just as any official DLC skin, you can find here in your cosmetics. In the unlocked cosmetics, you'll have Lost Colony, and now there is a structure skin there that you can use to apply to pretty much every structure to get some really cool skins. So we have the Behemoth Gate over here, which looks quite cool. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of variants for most pieces, but we do have a really nice and big gate, which will certainly make for a very nice entrance if you're planning on building a gothic themed stronghold for sure. But also the smaller variant, the normal gate we have. And actually the cool thing is that the arch on the top is actually part of the gateway, so that will stay in the same place. Really liking some of these spiky accents on there for sure, although I kind of wish that the normal gate would also have a little bit more of a rounder shape, because then we could use them as like window frames instead of just being an actual gateway. Then we have the cellar doors over here, so of course the normal cellar door, but also both the hangar and the barn door. They all look the same, of course, it's just the orientation that changes. Same for the Behemoth versions of those. Yeah, they are just a little bit bigger, but they look quite the same. And especially in these ones, you can kind of notice it kind of feels more like a dark tech variant than necessarily very gothic themed. And then we have all the main structures, the ones that you'll be using the most probably. We have the foundations that are pretty nice, some nice details along the sides as well, both for the triangles and for the normal ones. And then we have the walls. So the first normal wall has this as an inside option and this as the outside, which is pretty cool. It is quite busy, so especially for bigger walls it might get very, very chaotic. Then there is a second version of this where it is the outside skin on both sides, so you have the exact same on both sides. And we also have that for this version, so you can also have that on both sides. So it kind of looks like windows. I kind of wish these were actual like stained glass windows. That would have been amazing, but I guess you can still kind of use them as such. There we go. We have one of the doors. So this is the normal short door that we can open, of course. Some pretty cool sounds to them, to be honest. And yeah, pretty nice look. Then we have the taller door. Similar, of course, just a bit bigger. And then we have the double door, which is also pretty nice. And then we have the window. Again, unfortunately, you can't really see through it. I would have really loved some proper stained glass, but this is getting the closest we're probably going to get. So yeah, unfortunately there is not a like dedicated stained glass skin like maybe the Frontier has with the glass. That would have been lovely, of course. Then we have the railings, both normal one and of course a quarter one or half one if you want to use those. Pretty nice design, but I would also have liked to see a variant which was more spiky, because I feel like that would have been really useful for some Gothic building. Then we have the quarter walls over here. And then we have the large wall. Now, interestingly, the large wall does not have any of the variants. So it's just this one on the outside and this on the inside. And also this is the inside for the quarter wall. So yeah, definitely interesting to see. Then we have a bunch of the roof pieces. So we have the ramp corners over here. They kind of blend in very nicely with your foundations or ceilings. We have the stairs, which definitely again look very much like a dark tech stair. We have the ramp here, the quarter ramp. We have the quarter roof. Very nice small details. Then we have the roof corners over here, looking quite nice. And then also some nice golden accents on the inside underneath. Then we have the triangle roof. We have the staircase over there. Again, very techy. Then we have the normal stairs. We have the half-thin pillars and beam. Then the normal thin pillars and beams, as well as the chandelier of the Lost Colony pack, which is quite cool. Quite cool. It does feel like it should have maybe had more of a torch-like glow coming from it, but it is some pretty nice light. Then we have the normal pillar and beam half versions, as well as the wall torch from Lost Colony. And then we have the normal pillar and beam again, and a wall sign as well. Then we have again just the pillars by themselves. Especially these ones have some really nice shape and detail to them to give your builds some cool shapes. We have the ramps here, normal and rotated. They are very, very similar. We have the slope walls here. This is the inside, and then this is the outside look for those. So those are the shallow slope walls. Then we have the normal slope walls over here. We have the normal roof over here, which is quite nice, to be honest. And then we have the inside of the slope walls. Again, I would have loved to see a roof version. Some, of course, have that, like the steampunk one that has like a little window coming out of it. Would have been really helpful and really cool to see here too. The inside, if you flip it around, it looks like this. So quite some nice details on there for sure. Then over here we have the triangle ceilings, normal and flipped around. We have the quarter ceilings, normal and flipped around. We have the little hatch frame here. We have normal ceiling, both the normal one and flipped around. So that's basically just what is normally underneath. And then we have, of course, also the cellar door. We have the smallest barn door and the smallest hangar door. Again, kind of just similar vibes. Very techie vibes, especially from these doors, for sure. Then we also have the billboard looking quite cool. If you want to have some, proper text around your base, you have the normal sign as well that has a really cool skin. And then we have this kind of street lantern in the very gothic-y vibes that you can utilize. Then this over here is the new medical stand, and I think this is actually something that you could take out into the wild, because you can place it just on the ground, and I'm not exactly sure what it is, but you could definitely also use it as some really cool decorations around your base, of course, which as builders, that is also very important. We have the very cool looking table over here. That is definitely a very nice design. We have the bench right next to it, as well as the chairs, which looks very, very cool. Some really cool proper thrones is what they look like. They're very, very cool indeed for your own little evil castle if you want to build those. Then we have the standing lamp here. We have the storage. We have the larger storage. We have the vault, which looks really, really cool. That is definitely a very nice skin. Now, unfortunately, I don't think it works on any of the normal crafting stations like smithy, etc. That would have been really, really nice, of course. We have the new tech crop plot over here, looking very cool. Then over here we have the blood forge, which is definitely looking quite evil, but can also definitely be used as some nice form of decorations. And of course it is also a utility, but yeah, looks quite cool. Then we have the cryo hospital here, where I think your creatures heal faster or something like that. And then over here we have the war bench, which, I mean, looks kind of like a proper workshop with a bunch of things going on, which I think is where you can kind of combine loot into well, better versions or re-roll it for something else. I'm not entirely sure, but again, also a really nice little bit of decorations if you just want to have like a workshop kind of feel to part of your build, for sure. And then maybe the best for last over here, we have all the pet displays and stands. As you can see, we have some pets, or well, I guess some shoulder pets in here. We have a Compy, we have a Drakeling, a Cosmo, and this is one of the many displays. They will sometimes do little animations while they're moving in general, of course, but you can see sometimes they will do a little bit more, like the little Dodo does right now, like the Drakeling's been doing. And you also have two wall versions, as you can see, so a little nest, and then this one with like a little bit of a softer petting down there. But yeah, it's quite cool to be able to display some of your favorite creatures. So we have another one with 3 of them next to each other right here. So again, a nice way to display some of your favorite little shoulder pets. And then finally we have the companion bed, which, I mean, the name kind of suggests that is for your companions. As far as I know, it only works for the companions, but they will also do some random animations, or, you know, start resting on the bed. Right now he's just kind of posing, but sometimes they actually lay down and it kind of looks like they're going to sleep. So again, definitely is going to be a really nice thing to kind of add more life to the place. I'm not sure if it just means that it's now going to always be on the bed, or maybe only when I'm around base, and maybe it will still follow me. I'm not sure, but at least decoration wise, these little displays for all of them are going to be very helpful, just to, well, make your base feel more alive, but also just, you know, there's a purpose now for all of your small tames. You can still kind of have them around your base, bring life to the place. Just would be awesome. And especially if you get some really cool colors together, you know, kind of like trophies, you can have them here on display in your base. Bring a little bit of coziness. I'm not quite sure why this is kind of being added here to the Lost Colony vibe, since it is, you know, quite a hostile, quite a dark and, you know, dangerous vibe. And then we have these cute little pets, but maybe that is exactly why we need them. This guy at the moment does not want to do any of the emotes I've seen him do, unfortunately, but yeah, he can kind of lie down, and then it looks like he's passed out. I'm not sure if the Armo Doggo would do different animations or kind of the same things, but yeah, it's definitely a really nice addition. And I mean, there's a lot of new options. There we go. He passed out. He fell asleep. He's taking a little break. But yeah, definitely a lot of options. As you can see, plenty of new structures to get started with, to start building with your own gothic dream world here in Lost Colony. And then we have the cozy little additions as well, but especially also some really cool decoration options that have been added. What do you think of the new pack, of the new skins? Do you like them? Do you wish there was some extras? For me personally, the main thing I miss is some more proper windows, like the stained glass options. But also, if you take a look around the map and in the city, especially in the pre-built structures, there's actually windows and structures that are very close to what I would have loved to have seen in a gothic themed skin set, which it's unfortunate that we didn't get exactly those kind of windows, because it would have been really easy to have like a variant of the door frame where it kind of looks more like maybe a window, and then you have maybe the option to change the door into stained glass, or even do something similar as the Frontier skin, have a separate glass skin where if you would skin a wall, you would maybe get something like this, but instead of this red wall, it would actually look like a proper stained glass window. And then maybe have some of these different variants, different shapes to that, to really make this pack stand out and add a lot of functionality as a skin. Because I mean, everyone can see these skins, so these are definitely always the best option, of course, to use. And yeah, it's just a shame that we can't get just those little extra bits. Maybe they'll add them in the future, maybe. They have sometimes added a few extra things later on, but we still have a pretty good basis here, and especially some of the decorations are very nice. The pet displays are definitely some of my favorite new additions, and I'm sure that if we don't get them for wildcard, there's going to be some other cool gothic themed cosmetics coming out over the current weeks, since we now have this awesome new map. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed taking a first look at all of the new structures. And as I said before, make sure to like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss out on any of the builds that I'll be doing with these new additions to the game here on Lost Colonies. So yeah, feel free to leave some suggestions for builds you'd like to see down in the comments below. And then for now, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next video or the next stream. For now, goodbye.